So today's topic is abdominal uterine bleeding. It is AUB. So what a normal menstruation is? When it is of 28 days, the limit is 21 to 35 days, or we call it normal when it is consisting of around 4 to 5 days menstrual bleeding, and the blood loss is approximately 35 ml. Now coming to AUB, initially it was known as dysfunctional uterine bleeding. The new nomenclature, abnormal uterine bleeding, any bleeding from the uterine corpus that is abnormal in volume, regularity or timing that has been present for majority of the last 6 months. So that is the latest definition. Along with it, any kind of menstrual blood which interferes with the women's physical, social, emotional or any kind of quality of life. So to say AUB, it is if the menstrual blood loss is more than 80 ml, if the number are more than 7 days, or if a woman feels it is heavy or excessive. So the different terminologies which are included in AUB is one, menorrhagia, when this is excessive bleeding and at regular intervals. Metrorrhagia, when there is intermenstrual bleeding. Menometrorrhagia, when the woman is not able to define when she had her periods, because it is excessive bleeding during menses and in between the menses, so woman is not able to say when she had menstruated. It is called polymenorrhea when it is the bleeding is occurring in less than 21 days interval. And once the woman has achieved menopause, that is after cessation of 6 months of menses, if the bleeding occurs more than 1 year after menopause, then it is known as postmenopausal bleeding, and that is something which is really very alarming. As per age group, AUB can occur at any age. It may be at puberty, in reproductive, in premenopausal and postmenopausal. So this is a chart which is depicting different causes as per age of the patient. A female child even can have at birth also bleeding per vaginum, and that is because of the maternal estrogen withdrawal. From birth till 10 years of the age, then when she has not attained her puberty, that may be because of some foreign body, that is like pencil or some stone kind of pebble kind of thing. If a girl introduce inside her vagina, that can cause bleeding or trauma, any kind of infection. Sometimes sarcoma bothyroids may be a cause. Just before the puberty, that is between 10 to 15 years of the age, the usual causes are anovulation, coagulopathies, maybe infection. In reproductive age group, it may be anovulatory, it may be because of irregular hormonal intake, maybe because of the complication of the pregnancy, some infections, endocrinal disorders, as well as some uterine growths like polyp and myoma, that can be the cause. In the perimenopausal period, it is usually the bleeding becomes anovulatory, and again the same causes like polyp, myoma. The women may have endometrial hyperplasia or may have some kind of cancer, so that may be the cause. In the postmenopausal age group, that is around 60, it may be because of atrophic vaginitis or atrophic endometritis, or maybe because of irregular hormone therapy she is taking, or maybe endometrial carcinoma. So we have to investigate one by one how to diagnose it and how to manage it. So first we have to take a thorough history, a thorough clinical examination, the important investigation, and the ultrasound that plays a main role in diagnosing what kind of AUB it is and what may be the treatment. Coming to the pubertal and adolescence, that is less than 20 years, it is majorly because of anovulation. Sometimes the patient may have some viral infection that can cause blood dyscrasias, ITP is a cause, or other blood disorders like thalassemia and sickle cell anemia, that can be the cause. It may be like trauma, foreign body, or any kind of sexual assault, polyp, fibroids and malignancies. Sometimes the women may have, a girl may have, like maybe under some severe stress, so the hypothalamic pituitary axis is dysfunctional, and that can cause the abnormal menstrual pattern. So these are the basic causes. Now, how to evaluate the person is having, you have to ask what is you have to ask to that patient ki what is the history of amenorrhea, how much period she is having her amenorrhea. You have to ask whether it is associated with dysmenorrhea or what kind of bleeding it is. If it is like prolonged bleeding, along with that the lady is having bruises on her arms, forearms or any other area, so it is because of coagulopathy. To rule out PCOD, you have to ask the history for weight gain, acne, hirsutism, or to rule out hypothyroidism, again the weight gain, cold intolerance or fatigue and lethargy. These are the some important symptoms that may give us some clue. So to examine, we have to examine a patient head to toe. We need to evaluate how much pallor she has, any kind of lymphadenopathy, thyroid. We need to examine her neck also, and we have to see ecchymosis or a gum bleeding. Parabdominally, we have to palpate splenomegaly or hepatomegaly to rule out any kind of infection, malaria, and that may lead to some coagulopathies also, some kind of lymphomas also. Abdominopelvic mass, of course, to rule out some ovarian malignancy, and we have to examine her vaginally or parabdominally. We have to see whether she is pregnant or may be harboring some ovarian tumor or fibroid. So a complete investigation list, this slide is typically showing we should go for a UPT, a CBC, a PTT, APTT and a ESR and thyroid evaluation. Along with that, important special investigation, like if we are suspecting any tuberculosis, then we should send the menstrual blood for TB PCR, and if we are like suspicion of some kind of malignancy, then bone marrow aspiration and different factor analysis is important. Ultrasonography is the first and the foremost important diagnostic tool for gynae pathology. So it may be like 2D ultrasound, it may be abdominal, it may be a vaginal or a 3D ultrasound, or we can go for sonohystrography, sonohysterosalpingography, to rule out any kind of basically a polyp. So these are the endometrial pictures which is depicting this is a polyp. This seems to be very small, but it is very notorious. It can cause abnormal bleeding. So what happens in adolescents, why they have an ovulatory bleeding? So there is unopposed estrogen that causes intense endometrial growth, and this breaks down with random and excessive bleeding, and they are lacking the negative feedback also. So how to treat? Treatment is as per their grade of anemia, as per their symptoms. So for the mild anemia, we reassure, we give them a menstrual charting, we give them NSAID and iron vitamin supplementation, and sometimes they need a cyclical progesterone or OCP therapy. For the moderate anemia, we have to give her oral or parenteral iron, NSAIDs, tranexamic acid and the cyclical progesterone. So we can put the patient on cyclical progesterone or on a complete estrogen, conjugated estrogen and progesterone both. So these are the different agents that we give: tranexamic acid, mefenamic acid, ethamsilates. Progesterone में we prefer norethisterone and medroxyprogesterone. Now this is a flow chart which is depicting how to manage a puberty menorrhagia. So first you'll assure her that she is not harboring any major thing. Along with that, you will give her Haematonics, and then you may admit her if of course her anemia is of severe grade. After proper evaluation, you will see if it is like it is not depicting any kind of thing. To progesterone therapy is important, where we give medroxyprogesterone acetate, which is usually 10 mg in a day in the last 14 days of the cycle or the last 10 days of the cycle. If the patient is responsible, then we should continue it for 3 cycles. But if it is unresponsive, then we have to shift her on conjugated estrogen initially, and then after the patient becomes responsive, then we should replace it with the OCPs. And if again the patient is unresponsive, then of course we should go for a curettage and then the biopsy evaluation, the histopathological evaluation of endometrium. So Dynogest is a new drug which is usually which has a strong anti-androgenic but no estrogenic property it has. So Dynogest along with the combination of ethinyl estradiol may help in reducing the menstrual flow as well as the pain. and it has emerged as a upcoming a very good modality for treatment of AUB. So now few contraindications are there. It may be like the woman is having any kind of thromboembolic disorder, she is having any cerebrovascular disease, or she is having migraine, smoker, or undiagnosed vaginal bleeding, or if she is hypersensitive to any kind of active agent, then we should give her. Now coming to the reproductive age group, these are the most this comprises of. So as we all know, this topic is of course very lengthy, so I have covered puberty, menorrhagia. Now we have to see the important causes of reproductive age group as well as perimenopausal and a menopausal age group. So for these all topics, they will take time, so we'll cover them in next classes which are upcoming very soon.